We can now talk to Ghanaian sports journalist Gary Al Smith, who joins us from the Confederation of African Football's Media Center in Mongomo in Equatorial Guinea. Gary, victories for both Senegal and Algeria then yesterday. How did you assess these games, starting with Senegal?
The Senegal victory was a classic game of two halves, where the Senegal coach turned out to outthink his Ghanaian counterpart, Abraham Grant, in the second half, and they got the victory, and it was very deserved. Ghana definitely will know that they have some work to do in key areas of starting attacks, in terms of holding up their opposition, and in terms of their wing play as well. They have some work to do, but they will find it refreshing that at least their defense looked quite okay. The talk before the tournament about Ghana was about how the defense was going to be worrisome, but some of the players who are in the team and are new have shown that, given the chance, they are able to do something. But Ghana have it all to do in the next two games.
What do you think was lacking in Ghana's and South Africa's general play?
They failed to take their chances, both teams. In South Africa's instance, it was the same as Ghana. Brilliant first half. Second half, they went lost. They didn't take their chances. They missed that penalty, which was really one of a fluke, really, because, the goalkeeper was utterly beaten. The ball it was a well-taken penalty, but the ball just went to hit the crossbar, and they missed it. But apart from that, they will have themselves to blame for a couple of other gilt-edged chances that they missed as well. And South Africa may have a shout about their opposition, Algeria, having to be sent off during that penalty when Vilakazi was brought down. But the truth is that they had other chances to bury the game. They allowed Algeria to come in, and when Algeria made those two changes in the second half, it just completely changed the game. In the post-match interview right here in this media room, Dean Fairman, the key South African player, said and admitted that when Algeria went to 4-4-2, things changed. And Shakes Mashaba said that by that time, South Africa should have followed the game plan and should have won the game by then. And so they know that they had themselves to blame.
So in terms of which teams have the tools to progress from this group, what have we learned so far?
No, I don't think we've learned much. Because both Group C games were typical games of two halves, showing that the team that was good in the first half is good enough to have two very good 90-minute games in their intervening matches. So if they take their chances in their next matches and are solid and compact as they played in the first halves, they can still go through the group. Let's not forget that history is replete with such instances where teams have lost their first group games but gone on to top or finish second in the group. South Africa themselves in 1996, classic example. And today, I was listening to South African radio over the internet, and one of their legends, Phil Masinga, was saying that, come on, we won it in 96, but we didn't win our first group game at home. So it's doable, and the boys simply need to take their chances. They've shown that they are exciting, they are youthful, but it's just a tad, a bit of experience that they are missing, and hopefully this will be a good lesson for them.
Gary, it was another miserable Monday for Ghana, who haven't won any Monday fixtures in like 58 years. Is Ghana jinxed or just unlucky?
This is probably just unlucky, one of those quirky stats. It doesn't take anything to. The media didn't make a lot about it in Ghana, but if they had made a lot about it and the players knew, players are psychological in nature, and it might have worked to their favor. And they might have wanted to end that poor run. But it's just a quirky start that Ghana haven't won an AFCON or World Cup match that they played on Monday in all this year. So it's just one of those things.
Gary, we also heard you had an interesting experience with a bat in the media center in Mongomo yesterday. What was that about?
In this press room, when the post-match interviews were being done, there were obviously journalists. There were a couple of people here. But what happened is that a bat somehow found its way through the windows and was in the room. So by the time the journalists got into the room, if you know how media centers are during tournaments, they close the doors to keep the noise inside. And so the bat couldn't go out. The press briefing had already started. So the bat was just left to wander around. And while I was going to ask the question, it decided to swoop down on me. And so I had to dodge and do my best impression of Wojciech Szczesny. So that's what happened, but it was nothing really.
Okay, Gary, thank you for speaking to Sports News Africa. That was Gary Alsmith in the CAF Media Center in Mongomo.